In the year 1587, a small group of English settlers arrived on the shores of Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. It was a daring and dangerous mission, one that carried the hope of a new beginning, the promise of England's first permanent colony in the New World. Led by Governor John White, they numbered just over 100 men, women, and children. Among them was White's daughter, Eleanor, who gave birth to Virginia, the first English child born in the Americas. But within just a few years, that dream of a thriving English settlement would vanish without a trace. When John White returned to the island in 1590, after a supply trip to England, he found the colony deserted, the houses dismantled, possessions gone, no sign of violence, and yet no sign of life. The only clue, the word Croatoan carved into a post and the letters CO scratched into a nearby tree. It was a disappearance that baffled White, the English crown, and every investigator who came after. Were they murdered by hostile forces? Did they starve and perish in the wilderness? Did they assimilate into nearby native tribes? Or was something darker at play? A crime that erased more than 100 souls from history. This is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke, a tale caught between crime and mystery, between the brutality of the frontier and the enduring questions of human survival. The attempt to colonize Roanoke was not the first English effort in the New World. Two earlier voyages had already tested the dangerous waters. In 1584, Sir Walter Raleigh secured a charter from Queen Elizabeth to establish a colony in the Americas, an effort that would extend England's reach, challenge Spanish dominance, and open new trade routes. The first reconnaissance expedition reported back that Roanoke Island was a favorable location, with fertile land and a defensible position. But when settlers first attempted to establish themselves in 1585, the colony quickly faltered. Supplies ran low, relations with the indigenous Croatoan and Croatoan tribes grew tense, and the settlers abandoned Roanoke, returning to England. Raleigh, undeterred, tried again in 1587, this time sending families a sign that this was not just a military outpost, but intended as a permanent community. John White, a skilled artist and cartographer, was chosen as governor. The settlers built homes, planted crops, and prepared for a long future. But within months, supplies dwindled. White sailed back to England to secure provisions, promising to return quickly. Yet the Spanish Armada's threat against England delayed him for 3 long years. By the time he made it back in 1590, the colony had vanished. Imagine the scene: White stepping onto the sandy shore of Roanoke, desperate to see his daughter and granddaughter again. He moves through an eerie silence. Houses are gone, the fort is abandoned, the wilderness is reclaiming what the settlers once built. He finds no bodies, no graves, no signs of struggle, just the carving Croatoan. To White, this was a message left behind. The Croatoan were a friendly tribe, living on present-day Hatteras Island. Perhaps the colonists had sought refuge there, but violent storms, dwindling supplies, and constant danger prevented White from sailing further to investigate. He returned to England heartbroken, never learning the fate of his family or his colony. And so the mystery began. For centuries, historians, archaeologists, and storytellers have tried to piece together what happened. Some theories lean toward tragedy by natural forces, starvation, disease, or hurricane. Others suggest a violent end, perhaps, at the hands of hostile tribes or Spanish raiders determined to wipe out English settlements. Still others believe the colonists survived by assimilating into native tribes, disappearing not through murder, but through cultural absorption. But for a true crime lens, one must ask, did the last colony fall victim to a crime, a mass killing, a betrayal, a cover-up? Was Croatoan not a clue of safety, but a warning carved in desperation? Reports from later English settlers hinted that blue-eyed, fair-haired native children were seen in the area, descendants, perhaps, of Roanoke's vanished settlers. Yet no definitive evidence has ever proven this. Theories of Spanish attacks are also compelling. Spain, fiercely protective of its claims in the Americas, may have seen Roanoke as a threat, but no Spanish record of such a raid survives. And then there are the darker, more chilling theories. Some believe the settlers turned on each other in desperation, starvation driving them to conflict, even cannibalism. The fact that the houses were carefully dismantled, rather than burned, suggests an organized departure, not sudden violence. Yet the lack of follow-up records leaves the possibility of betrayal, mutiny, or murder open. Roanoke's mystery has endured for more than 4 centuries because it lives at the intersection of crime and legend. It is America's first cold case, one with no bodies, no confessions, no resolution, just a single word carved in wood, left behind like a riddle for the ages. The story of Roanoke continues to haunt American history because it reflects deeper themes: the struggle of survival, the danger of ambition, the fragility of human plans against nature and conflict. It is not only a colonial mystery, but also a crime of erasure, the erasure of voices, lives, and a future that might have been. Some modern researchers have turned to archaeology, finding fragments of English, pottery, and tools on Hatteras Island, faint signs that survivors may have indeed joined the Croatoan. Others analyze tree ring data, which suggests that one of the worst droughts in centuries struck Roanoke at the time, starving the colony. But even if we accept those explanations, they do not fully solve the puzzle. Why leave no message beyond Croatoan? Why dismantle their homes and vanish completely, without a trace of life or death? The Lost Colony endures as one of history's most unsettling riddles, because it defies categorization. Was it a tragedy of starvation, a crime of violence, or an intentional vanishing, where settlers chose to abandon the English dream and begin anew with another people? For John White, the answer never came. He died in England, forever tormented by the disappearance of his daughter and granddaughter. For historians and true crime enthusiasts, the case remains open, and so, more than 400 years later, the Lost Colony of Roanoke still whispers across time. A colony of more than 100 men, women, and children simply disappeared, leaving us with only questions. A haunting reminder that sometimes the greatest crimes in history are those that erase not only people, but the truth of what happened to them. This has been Crimes Through Time. If you found this story haunting, hit the like button and subscribe for more dark mysteries of history. And tell us in the comments, do you think the settlers were murdered, or did they simply choose to disappear into another world? We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay safe,